Yoimiya is kind of a controversial character. There are people who absolutely adore her, but there are also people who, well, don't. All the memes aside though, she's actually not a bad character. Don't get me wrong, she's not the strongest unit there is, and she definitely has her weaknesses. But there are actually a lot of ways to play around those weaknesses and alleviate them. Even though it might not be the most optimal thing to do, you can still make her work decently despite circumstances working against her. So if you're a Yoimiya haver, Yoimiya wanter, or if you have her and just want to play her, here are 3 of Yoimiya's biggest weaknesses and what you can do to overcome them. Now, the first thing I wanted to talk about is less of a weakness and more of an unfair criticism. A lot of people think Yoimiya is bad and that you shouldn't play her just because a better pyro DPS exists. While it is true that if you're looking for optimization, there are stronger units like Xiangling and Hu Tao, sometimes people just want to play Yoimiya because they like her character or playstyle. In that case, who cares? She's still a good unit, and the existence of better units doesn't make her bad. And there are still ways that she can be useful even if you have stronger units. For example, she can take very good advantage of lesser used supports like Yunjin. This will allow you to free up your more sought after supports and let you use them in your second team for things like the Abyss. So even if you do plan on using a stronger unit like Xiangling, using Yoimiya on the other team can allow you to free up Bennett, which is a support that Xiangling depends on a lot more. And even if you don't have the problem of sharing supports, you can put Yoimiya and Xiangling together to make a very good mono pyro team. They have pretty good synergy as they can generate particles for each other, and Xiangling's Pyronado can snapshot the buff from Yoimiya's passive. This means that Pyronado will be buffed for its entire duration as long as Yoimiya's buff was active when Pyronado was cast. But not only that, using a team like this can also help with another weakness that Yoimiya has. An actual one this time. And that's the fact that Yoimiya's kit is very single target focused. While this allows her to do really good damage against single target enemies like bosses, it makes her weaker against groups of enemies. However, contrary to what a lot of people think, it doesn't make her completely unviable. There are actually a lot of teams that can help her perform decently against multiple enemies, one of which being the mono pyro team with Xiangling that I was just talking about. The large amount of pyro particle generation can allow for Xiangling to burst on cooldown, dealing massive AoE off-field damage while Yoimiya unloads her arrows onto the enemies. Additionally, there will also be an Anemo support on Viridescent Venerer, Swirling Pyro, further increasing the AoE damage as well as Yoimiya's personal damage. But that's not the only way you can deal with multiple enemies. Other teams that can help Yoimiya deal with crowds include Overload teams and Overvape teams. Overload teams use Electro supports to, well, trigger Overload, while Overvape teams use both Hydro and Electro supports to trigger Overload, Vaporize, and Electrocharge. Common Electro supports for these teams include Fischl and Beidou, both of whom with abilities also having the added bonus of being able to snapshot Yoimiya's buff. The only downside of these teams is that Overload can knock back smaller enemies, so I recommend these teams more for fighting groups of heavier enemies. Unless, of course, you have a really strong grouper like Venti or Kazuha. In that case, you don't have to worry about knocking them away, just, you know, suck. Furthermore, these teams can also help with the next weakness I'm going to be talking about, and that's how Yoimiya's ICD interacts with her normal attacks. ICD stands for internal cooldown, and it limits how fast you can apply an element. So if you ever use an elemental attack and it didn't apply the element or trigger a reaction, that's because of ICD. Now without getting too technical, you just have to know that Yoimiya's ICD while using her ability will only allow her to apply Pyro on her first, third, and fifth hit of her normal attacks. Now this is usually good because her third and fifth hit are the ones that hit the hardest. And on teams like her standard Vaporize teams, she'll be triggering the reactions on those hits. And since Vaporize multiplies the damage of your hits, it's a lot more damage when those hard-hitting hits trigger the reaction. Now the problem comes when you need to dodge. Dodging interrupts her combo, which basically f***s up the ICD. So if you dodge and interrupt your combo, you might start vaping on the wrong hits, which will result in a lot less damage. And if you don't dodge, well, you might die or an enemy might interrupt your combo, in which that case your ICD still f***s up. So to solve this problem, it's really recommended to run Yoimiya with a shielder so you can finish her combos without dodging and without dying. Fortunately, Yoimiya works with a lot of shielders. You can use Zhongli, Diona, Toma, or even Tank Fei if you're desperate, but that's not the only way to solve this problem either. The Mono Pyro and Overload teams I mentioned earlier are also great ways to play around this. For the Mono Pyro team, you don't have to worry about interrupting your combos as much because they're not triggering any reactions, therefore you don't really care about ICD. You also don't have to worry about ICD as much when playing Overload teams, because unlike Vaporize, the damage from Overload scales separately from the damage of your hit. It only scales off of EM and your character's level and things like that. So it doesn't matter if you're overloading on a big hit or a small hit, as long as you're overloading, you're doing the damage. Ideally though, you still want to finish your combo because those hits are the ones that deal the most damage. These teams just lose less damage if you miss a few of those hits. In conclusion, Yoimiya is a good unit and she can still perform really well even in situations that may put her in a disadvantage. But I also don't want to oversell her. She's definitely not OP and you should only pull for her if you like her character. If all you want is just a strong pyro DPS, you already have arguably the best one in the game, which is Xiangling, so just use her. And yeah, I really tried my best to be unbiased and informational, so if you found this video helpful, please do like and subscribe, it really helps a lot. Also, comment down below your thoughts on Yoimiya, I want to know.